how
Yeah.
can one deliver a memorable speech? What should the speech look like? What are the things that one needs to ensure while preparing that speech? What is the content that can make someone remember that speech forever?
A lot of people now, they don't like to kind of like listen to statistics and numbers. And for example, now we're dealing with COVID-19. If I told you like how many people infected or died because of just COVID-19, for you it's just a number. Who cares? However, if I told you a story of my mom or my grandmother who've been struggling with this like, disease, and I through my words I show you the struggle that she's been through. She cannot breathe, and she feel like somebody's choking her the entire time. So now you feel the gravity of what we are actually talking about. So use as much of stories in your speeches more than like you can still use the statistics and like all the shocking numbers if you want, but most of the speech has to be a story because every audience member would love to hear a story. The other thing that makes your story that makes your speech like memorable is this: when you conclude your speech, um, if you remember, for example, when we were in school, and it's a math class, and at the end of the math class, the teacher give us homework, so you can go home and and do the homework. Why would the teacher do that? Because once you do it outside of the class, the information sticks in your mind a lot more. And the same thing happened with speaking as well. At the end of your speech, like before you conclude, give your audience a homework, which means try to give them something to do. Again, they might do it, they might not do it, but give them something to do when they leave the hall. So, for example, if I'm gonna, again, if I'm gonna be speaking about, the coronavirus and like and the COVID-19, before I conclude, I can say, ladies and gentlemen, I want you all, before you get into your car today, please wear a mask. It's not for you; it's for the people that you have at home, for your mom. So now I gave you something to do when you leave the hall. So once you give your audience something to do, they will like remember your speech more. Like much more.
Fantastic. I think in this part, we tried to understand how the importance of emotions and also how to place the words right while delivering a story to our audience. That's great.
Yes.
If you would like to share that five takeaways from your book, The Power of Words, what would that be to our audience here?
Well, after I won the World Championship of Public Speaking in 2015, a lot of people have been asking me, Mr. Katani, when are you going to do your book? And I said, well, I don't know. I actually, like as I said again, I've never thought I'm going to win. So now that I won, everybody has a lot of expectation out of me. And I didn't want to write a book on the public speaking styles and techniques because I thought a lot of people have written so many about those. So I'm not going to really add anything. So I was struggling with the idea of what should I write about. And then I was invited to speak in Hyderabad in India. And after I spoke, they wanted to do a press conference with me. So the guy who's doing the interview, he said, "Is it true that you struggled with stammering from a younger age?" I said, "Yes, and I still do, by the way." He said, "Huh. So a stammerer becomes the world champion of public speaking. That's a story that people should actually, should actually listen." So that would trigger me to write the book. If you read the book is never about me, and I intentionally made it that way because like one of the things that also as a speaker you should actually avoid is to be the hero of your own story. Even if the story is real, you should not be the hero of the story because it will come across that you're someone who's actually like bragging. So in my book I had chapters, and every chapter is titled with a character, and it's a character that helped shape who I am and helped made me like who I am. I would never be where I am today if it wasn't for the people that who like actually around me, either from my childhood and even until now. I am a person of so many mistakes and so many flaws and so many problems. I'm not perfect. I'm far away from it. However, one thing that I pride myself in is I choose the people around me very carefully. I surround myself with people who would believe in me, even when I stop to believe in myself. people who pushed me when I thought that there is no way I'm going to actually just get this. And that's actually what I want you to actually just take away from my book is these characters. It's not about me and it's never about me. It's about these characters. And read, and like every time you read in my book, each chapter is a character and a lesson that I learned from that character. And I want you to think about your own life. Do you have a character like that in your life who can make you a much better person?
Wonderful. Surround yourself with people who can give you a strong character, or you could have a character building day. Wow. I love
Absolutely.
this part, right? Because you stay positive around those people and they'll push you to get better. That is phenomenal. Now, coming to the most important part, I know you are a Toastmaster yourself. So tell me your overall Toastmaster experience and the impact it has in your life, because now you are a world champion of public speaking.
Well, I joined Toastmasters back in 2009, and the reason I joined, as I said earlier, I needed a place where I can speak on a regular basis, so I would not stutter as much. And I found that the Toastmasters is a perfect platform to do that. And when I joined, I used to do all my speeches as humorous speeches because I love to make people laugh, and it's like it brings me like a lot of joy to see to see the smile on the people's faces. So the president of the club, I remember at the time, told me that I should actually enroll in the contest, and I didn't know what the contest is. And he tried to explain it to me. You compete in the club level, you win, you go to the area level, division level, and so on and so forth. So I started competing in 2010, and I went, I think, to the area level, and I lost. I got the second place, and I was a bit of a sore loser back then. Like I did not take losing very, I mean, like really lightly. And I remember the president of the club came up to me and he's congratulating me on a very strong, I mean, like, performance. And I told him, yeah, but still a second place. He said, so? I said, it's a second place. It's a tiny trophy. I cannot put that trophy in my desk. It's embarrassing. And he said something to me that I will still remember to this day. He said, if what you're looking after is just a trophy or a piece of glass, I'll take you now and I'll buy you one. I'll buy you the biggest trophy if you want, if that's what you're after. And there was a really strong, I'm like, lesson in that, which is, you see, in life, sometimes we might chase after a title or a higher pay or more fame or all that stuff. But it shouldn't be it shouldn't be what we are chasing after. It should be what we're gonna do once we get there. So yes, you want to be the CEO of a company, but why? So I mean, like a lot of people, they just want the title. The question is, what are you gonna do like once you get there? It should be so. I mean, like whatever you achieve in life is just key for you to unlock the doors for more opportunities, not just for you, for everybody who's who's around you. So he kept asking me, what do you want from speaking? What is your ultimate goal? And I was thinking about it for a minute, and I thought, well, I want to speak to 1,000 people. I want the chance to speak to 1,000 people, to inspire 1,000 people. And he said to me, if that's really your dream, then one day, I don't know when, but one day you will reach to the finals and you will speak to thousands. Then he gave me a piece of paper and a pen. And he said, write your acceptance speech. I said, what acceptance speech? He said, the acceptance speech that you're going to say when you win the world championship. I said, oh my God, you're crazy. He said, no, write it, because if you write it, you'll actually just believe it. And if you believe it, God will make it true. And that's actually another thing that we should actually learn. Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes we say, I'm going to try. See, if you say I'm going to try, it's like you're just giving yourself an excuse to quit when things get a bit, too hard. Say, one day I'll get there. I don't know when, but I will get there. And if you have that strong, just kind of believe in your mind, it's going to happen sooner or later, but it's going to happen. So that was back in 2010.